Welcome to another edition of Small Talk for You. This morning I wanted to take a look at exceptions in VisualWorks, and not just the catching of exceptions, but more the handling of them. A couple of simple examples first, and these are going to look very much like the ones I did in Pharo about a week ago. I have dividing by 0 eventually when I count this down from 10 to 0, and I'm going to just raise the 0 divide exception. So I go ahead and do it, and you get the exact same response you expect here. And I can catch that exception the way you'd expect on 0 divide do, and then throw some interesting message out to the transcript instead of giving the message not understood window. So we get that up there. Oops. Now, more interestingly, how do you raise your own exceptions? Meaning, what if I wanted to raise the 0 divide myself for some reason with something else, or I wanted to just raise a generic error? Well, I can do this. 0 divide raise with, and I hand it a string and the error string, and that'll give me all the contextual information for handling that. So I can come in here, do it, and then you get our string here instead of the long string that we had from the default handling up here. Now, that's all fine and well, but what about your own exceptions? Well, it turns out I have a little example here. I have my build package that I use at the project I'm on at work, and here let's go to the definition. I have this build exception, which is a subclass of error, and to use this, if I go ahead in here and right click and do references, you'll find out how I make use of it. And you can see in here, I have on logging a message, I raise an exception. And I have handlers in the code so that I can handle these if they're in critical places. But whenever I have an error message come through, I raise this exception. That gives me the ability to have my own exception instead of just a generic error so that I can see what's happening. If I wanted more contextual information than that, I might have a whole string of exception classes through my build system that raise different exceptions depending on what went wrong where. You know, maybe one for store connection problems and so on and so forth. But this is really all I have. So you see here, I have one when the whole thing failed. So I just build failure and raise an exception. And this is all there is. You define your own error class, so you subclass from exception, and then you go ahead and do a raise with and give it a string, and that way you get contextual exceptions instead of just generic errors. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with whatever small talk you're using.